Hello, I'm Henry Jeffries, wine writer for the Critic magazine, and we have a new wine club. And here to tell us all about it, Olivia Maning from Corney Barrow.
Hi, Henry.
Welcome. Thank you for coming all the way to our studio off Lambeth Walk. And we've got some wonderful wines to try. But first of all, I just want to learn from you about how you got into wine and then a bit more about Corney Barrow. So how did you become a wine expert?
I was procrastinating when I was studying for my final exams at university and happened upon the Majestic Wine graduate scheme and thought that was an excellent tenuous link from a French and Spanish degree. And
It's not that tenuous, French, Spanish, wine, languages.
There's a bit of a link. So I was there for a little while and got the wine bug, and then a job came up at Corney Barrow, and I've been there since 2012.
And what's your role there?
So I work in the merchant team, which is very much the kind of commercial side of the business. So we sell to bars, hotels, restaurants, big groups, contract caterers, you name it. We've sold to football clubs in the past, rugby clubs, and I'm also quite heavily involved in wine sales through our website now. So.
Right. It's quite an interesting journey, that one, because I think a lot of people in the wine trade have it. I had a similar thing. Not that I'm in the wine trade, but I did an English degree, had no idea what to do with it, noticed that the people in odd bins were having quite a lot of fun selling wine when I went in, and I thought, I don't know what to do. So I got a job there, worked there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I just got so into wine.
Absolutely.
I wasn't even that into wine when I got a job there. I obviously pretended I was. And then you join those organisations like Majestic or Odd Bins, and they're like these amazing training grounds for the British wine trade.
Incredible training, and I learned all sorts of different skills when I was at the Clapham store for Majestic. I could tell you the entire sort of A to Z of local streets because I spent a lot of my time driving the van around doing deliveries. And it was great, but I also did my first WSET exam whilst I was there, and that kind of really helped with building on my knowledge and understanding of the whole of the wine world once I then moved on to Corney Barrow and did my diploma ultimately. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, but it's been a lot of fun.
My favourite moment, I worked for Odd Bins in Knightsbridge. We had this Italian van driver, and trying to explain to him the difference between Onslow Square and On Sloane Square. And he'd just be like, no, I am on Sloane Square. It's like, no, you need to go to, and this was before GPS and stuff. This was in the late 90s. So hours of fun.
Absolutely.
Hours of fun.
Absolutely.
Well, Corney Barrow is probably up there with the most prestigious wine merchants in the country, wouldn't you say?
I think we have a reputation for being pretty high-end, a luxury brand, as some might call it. But actually, I think it would have surprised quite a lot of people to know that we do these sort of drinking wines for, you and I, for example, don't have to be a multi-billionaire to buy some of our wines, but we do have exclusivities in some of the most prestigious wines.
Because you've got like Romani Conti?
Yeah, Divendolo Romani Conti. We have all sorts.
You wanted to let me try it one year. I was allowed to try it, and it was.
Really? Did you come to the office?
Yeah, it was really good.
It's quite an intense day that day, especially when everybody has to be tasting in complete silence.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, but no, it's amazing to work for a merchant who has such a wide variety of exclusivities and producers that we work with, and a lot of. So even some of these producers we work with for decades and decades and decades. So it's a great place to be. But we do have Divendolo Romani Conti, which is it's a big boy.
Big boy, and you're very old, aren't you? When were you founded?
1780.
1718. You've got these wonderful premises. Just by the river near Tower Bridge, just off the highway.
Just had a massive refurb to the office as well, so that's been a very exciting project.
I mean, the real estate must be worth just.
I think it's worth a few
because you're on this like actually rather unlovely stretch of road, and then you come off it, and then you're suddenly it's almost like a little Oxford College or something with a square.
It's an old customs house, so it has a lot of kind of traditional features, but. And the architects who've just done the refurb have tried their best to kind of take it back to its original sort of styling, and it looks really fantastic. So you'll have to come along and.
I can't wait. No, I'm a big fan of Corney Barrow. Before we get on to the wines, which I'm really quite excited about, these are all sort of summer bangers. We're calling them. Tell us about if tomorrow you were going to be like facing the firing squad. You know, it's unlikely. I don't think it's going to happen.
Fingers
What
crossed.
would be the last wine that you'd drink?
That's a good question. I think I would probably have to go for some kind of champagne.
Right, oh,
I
right,
am
very
a
good.
huge
Yeah.
champagne, a huge champagne fan, and in the spirit of keeping Corney Barrow exclusivities at the top of our talking points, I'd say Salon.
Oh, okay, yeah, very nice. And that's so Salon is a super upmarket champagne made in very small quantities.
Absolutely,
Is that right?
very small quantities. It's not made every vintage, but some of the other wines that Salon de la Motte make in the years that they don't make Salon, the grapes go into de la Motte Brut Non Vintage and Blanc de Blanc. So you can be saying in a year that they haven't made Salon that you are still drinking some Salon grapes.
What a way to go out with style. I think I always say something like vintage port, but actually I think champagne
I
is
love
easily the
champagne.
best answer.
Absolutely.
Right, let's have something a bit more down to earth.
Okay.
We're going to have white wine. Can you pass your glass? We'll have a little taste.
Absolutely.
So this
Okay.
is Tunella.
Chinella.
Tunella. And you speak Italian, don't you?
No, sadly not.
Oh, no, Spanish and
I can
French.
just pretend.
Okay, Tunella.
Tunella.
Pinot Grigio. And tell us a little bit about this one. Where is it from?
So this is from Friuli.
Yeah.
So we're northern Italy, very close to the Slovenian border, and as you can imagine, it's not your sort of standard Italian climate up there. We're a bit cooler climate, slightly more sort of snow-capped mountains, those sorts of images. So it's a cooler climate profile, which makes really nice, fresh.
I can always smell the snow-capped mountains, you know, the sort of pine and herbs and sort of little girls with blonde pigtails.
Exactly, it's like the sound of music in a glass.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? What a great way to describe it.
But this is another one of our family-run estates that we work with. They've also gone through quite a lot of redevelopment in the last sort of 20, 30 years.
I just love that. It's so sort of creamy and fresh. And
It is.
why is this good and most Pinot Grigio is not good?
Oh, that's a question. They invest a lot of time and effort in the production of it, so it's hand harvested. Obviously, they're eliminating any kind of bad grapes. It's not bulk produced. It's not. There's time and effort and money that goes into the production of it. So you're not just going around the corner and buying a couple of Pinot Grigios for £5. This might cost a little bit more,
Right, no, yeah, how much does it cost?
but it's
So this is normally
worth it.
$15.75, but we're doing it for £15 a bottle, which works out at £180 a case of 12 delivered.
yeah. So it is a little bit more than maybe kind of a supermarket Pinot Grigio, but there are also some excellent supermarket Pinot Grigios out there. But there's a little bit more time and investment and money that goes into the production of it. And I think you can really see the quality that comes through in the glass. It's so fresh. It's got lovely floral qualities, nice fruit there as well, and it's really refreshing. And I think it's a really versatile wine for food, so could go brilliantly with antipasti, nice light sort of summery pasta dishes, a primavera risotto or something along those lines, because it does have a nice sort of green fruit profile.
Yeah, I always think something like this, spaghetti vongole, you
Yeah,
know, one
delicious.
of those kind of
Absolutely
classic
delicious.
Italian dishes.
But I think it's really fresh, and you can enjoy it very easily on its own as well. I think as an aperitif.
And you were saying something before I interrupted you about them refurbishing or having lots done.
Yeah, so they've done some big development into the winery, invested quite a lot in their technology and their production, and I think you can really see the kind of the cut above in terms of sort of hand harvesting, hand making, hand production. It's really involved, and I think it's a really lovely wine, and a lot of I love their Pinot Noir as well. It's fantastic.
Oh, they do a Pinot Noir? Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds very exciting. I think this is just absolutely delicious, and we're drinking it at about just before midday.
Yep.
It's the perfect kind of perfect sort of wine to start the day, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Or start your lunch. So that's very nice. Pinot Grigio from northern Italy, sort of mountain fresh. We're now going to have a rosé, and I'm really excited about this rosé. And you don't often hear people say that they're excited about a rosé, but this is, well, you can tell us all about it. But so this is your own label Provence rosé, and it's made by Chateau Latour de l'Evêque. Sorry, I've been in the wine world for so long, but my French pronunciation is so terrible. Anyway, tell us about what makes this rosé really interesting.
So this is a new addition to our own label portfolio that we're really excited about, because it's also us working in conjunction with such a prestigious and exciting winery in Chateau Latour de l'Evêque, which was founded quite some years ago, but is now under the steerage of Régine Sumer, who was very much a pioneer in the production of those pale types of rosés that you can see in the glass here. She uses a coquard press, so
that's like a champagne
press,
right.
So quite unusual in terms of still wine production. But also what's really interesting about her wines is that it's quite an interesting, quite complicated blend. So you don't just have red wine, lightly pressed red grapes in these wines. She does also add some white.
Right.
And it's very different year on year. So they work very hard to make sure that the blend is quite consistent, but that does mean that they do have to do a little bit of shaking up of the recipe each year.
So what are the red grapes? Grenache, Sanso?
So we've got Mourvèdre, we've got some Sanso, there's also some Rolle in there, which is a really interesting white grape.
Vermentino,
exactly. Right. But she really was the first winemaker. She's a lady, which is still quite unusual, sadly, in 2026 in terms of the wine world. But she was a real pioneer in terms of making wines that are light in colour, very fresh, whilst retaining fruit character, but not that sort of dark cherry red sort of super sweet Californian Zinfandel type rosé that you can still see out and about there.
But what's so interesting about this estate is we see wines this colour everywhere. Yep. But they were the pioneers, weren't they? Before she came along and got her champagne press and pressed the grapes really, really gently. If you watch that old Floyd on Food in the sort of in the 90s, he drinks a lot of Provence rosés, as you can imagine, and it's pink, it's bright pink. Pink. Sometimes even getting on for red. Some of them almost look like Beaujolais, and that's what when I was in the wine trade, rosé was bright pink. It was like Spanish Rosado. It was even the Provence stuff. Very few of them were this colour, and these were the first people to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And for a woman to be doing that and to be doing it in the kind of 70s, 80s, and now we have these amazing, delicate, refreshing, but also creamy and lots of nectarine and peach flavours I find in these wines. And as you say, this is now kind of the hallmark for rosé around the world.
But most of them, not most of them, quite a lot of them, they take the colour, but they don't have the flavour, do they?
Exactly. But this is a double whammy.
Yeah, and it's because you sometimes see those very pale wines that are trying to be like this, and they're just really, really boring. And this has, as you said, this beautiful sort of peach flavours, and then it's got that texture, it's got that richness.
Exactly, and it's got a lovely long finish. It's really silky, it's really smooth. I think it's lovely on its own, but it's such a nice, hopefully we will get some sunshine at some point in the coming months. But it's lovely kind of barbecue wine, lovely with pasta, salads, you name it. It's really delicious, and it's really exciting that we've now added it to our own label portfolio. Yeah,
this I think one of the best things about it is the price. So it's normally $16.25. It's £15 for the Critic Wine Club, which works out at £180 a case of 12, and that's about £5, £6, £7 less than the big names, which I won't mention.
Absolutely.
Which are, and I've tried them all this year, and none of them are as good as this. And I won't say, Whispering Angel, Miraval, all those sort of ones. This is much, much better, and it's a lot cheaper.
It is, but I think what's also really interesting about this wine is that it's got a couple of years' age on it now.
Oh, has it?
It's 2024.
Right.
And I think her wines are made in such an incredible way that actually they do benefit from a little bit of age. They don't need to be like some of those sort of tasteless, watery swimming pool wines. They need to be drunk sort of the couple of days after they're made almost, because otherwise they just have no flavour that carries through. Whereas this, you can age it for a couple of years and it's still tasting fantastic.
Right, that's really interesting, because I know that you could do that with Bandol, which is an area within Provence. I didn't know that something like this would improve, but it seems to be improving incredibly. I think this is a really exciting wine. Right, finally, another wine that I think is really exciting. My French pronunciation is going to be an absolute disaster here, but it's a Fleurie.
It's a Fleurie.
From Beaujolais. Maybe you could tell us what it's called.
Fleurie La Madone. So
I can say La Madone, but the producer, that looks quite hard to say.
La Tuilière Cravaillon.
Okay, I couldn't say that. Yeah.
It's quite hard. It is a bit of a mouthful. But it's yet another family-run winery that we work with. I think these are the fifth or the sixth generation of the family who are now involved in this. The current guardians are Kathy and Cedric, and they do their very, very best to maintain the traditions of the area, whilst also kind of trying to add in a modern interpretation of Beaujolais.
Do you want to pass me your glass?
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, I didn't really mean when I picked these wines to kind of do wines that are commonly maligned, but Beaujolais is another wine that
it is.
My father, if he'd love this, but he'd always like, oh, I don't want to drink Beaujolais, it's some nasty, horrible stuff. And why does Beaujolais have this reputation as well?
Well, I think it goes back sort of part maybe the generation before me, my parents' sort of generation, definitely my grandparents, those sort of, the red wine runs down to France. And picking up some Beaujolais Nouveau being a thing, which is it's a shame really. It's not so celebrated anymore. But I think people just assumed it was sort of alcoholic fruit juice, like alcoholic Ribena type thing, and
as if that's a bad thing.
Put it in a nice lolly mould and have a lovely alcoholic Ribena ice lolly. But yeah, I think if you look hard enough, you can find some really lovely examples of Beaujolais that have more complexity to them, have a little bit more sort of involvement and investment from the winemakers, and it's not just crunching up some Gamay and making it taste like banana sweets and.
Well, this stuff definitely doesn't. So Fleurie is one of the. It doesn't say Beaujolais on the bottle, but Fleurie is a cru of Beaujolais. Could you just explain what that means?
So we have Fleurie, we have Morgon, we have a couple of others, Bruy, in the Beaujolais area. So these are grapes that are grown within the kind of cru, the appellation in the northern. This is in the north of Beaujolais. And I think Fleurie is known for having slightly more structure and a bit more backbone than some of the other crus. But
also having that thing that the name suggests. You always think of
Exactly.
Fleurie and you think of it's got that joyful fragrance to it.
Yeah, a little bit more floral, a little bit more, some kind of light sort of pepperiness and those sorts of notes. But yeah,
So it's basically it's just superior, isn't it? If it's got the name of the village on,
it's not just Beaujolais.
it's not just Beaujolais.
Yeah.
It's something that's and I think the quality. I mean, this is particularly good, but the quality of the named villages in Beaujolais, I think, is now really quite high, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can see more and more on the shelves wines with those names on them on the bottles, rather than just kind of Beaujolais Nouveau or Beaujolais, and that you're getting a little bit, a kind of a slight step up in quality.
Yeah. And I love it's got this wonderful freshness, and as you said, that sort of peppery note, lovely red fruit, and then it's just so fragrant and joyful, but with a sort of stoniness to it as well.
Definitely. There's a nice mineral, kind of refreshing quality to it, but it does have that lovely sort of violet perfumed note to it. But I think it's really lovely to drink and lovely, just ever so slightly chilled on a warm day.
And what I particularly like is it's only 12.5%, and I've had some Beaujolais recently which are getting up to 14, and I just think, especially with Fleurie, I want it to have that sort of joyful lightness of touch, and I think this one has that in spades. And as you said, a little bit chilled, and I can't imagine any food that this well, maybe blue cheese, but any food apart from blue cheese and sticky toffee pudding that this wouldn't go brilliantly with. You think like red meat, fish, pasta, ratatouille.
Really nice. If you lightly chill it with a nice seared tuna steak and some fresh salad to go with it or something along those lines. Really lovely salmon as well. It's a really versatile wine because it does have so much fruit quality, but also those extra kind of layers of pepperiness and perfume and floral notes. it's really lovely. Actually, it's something that I haven't had for a while, but I'm rediscovering it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Perfect Summer Red. And that is normally £17.95. We're doing it for £17. That's £204 a case delivered. Or a mixed case with 4 of each, which will be £188. And it's all the details are on the Critic website, thecritic.co.uk/wine-club. Olivia, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much for bringing these wonderful wines.
You're very welcome. I hope everybody enjoys them.
What a great start to the day. Thank you.